rule number 73. A kid in a candy store always gets caught. Where do you find a healthy mix of hot rods, music, some of the greatest names in Go Fast goodies, and the legendary barbecue that glues it all together? That would be Memphis, Tennessee, kid. So, let's kick off one perfect day with a pork barbecue breakfast burrito at Elwood's Shack, right here in the town that not only gave us rock and roll, but a few good reasons to never, ever leave. We've had Memphis on our bucket list for years, but it took one of our favorite brands to move here to finally get us off our butts and make the trip. And now that they've settled in and we've got our first dose of Memphis barbecue in us, it was time to make a visit.
Now, if you know anything about Edelbrock, they just moved here from Southern California to Olive Branch, Mississippi. Just over the border on the southern side of Memphis, Tennessee. It's a beautiful area. We're gonna go inside, meet Mark Campbell. He's gonna give us a tour of the facilities and get to see stuff that no one gets to see at Edelbrock. So, you're in for a treat. Let's go in and meet Mark. Okay, so here we are inside the Edelbrock headquarters. And Mark Campbell.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. This new headquarters I've heard all about, but I've never really seen. This is the first time, and here we are. And this is where all the sausage is made and all the magic happens,
We
right?
do a lot of stuff here, absolutely. You betcha. We got the warehouse in the back. We make our intake manifolds here and kit a lot of our parts. So yeah, we got a lot going on in the
So
back.
it all happens right here, right?
It does.
Much of what I think a lot of people think about modern, production, especially when it comes to speed parts and things, people think it happens all over the world. It really happens all right here, right?
Yep, this is our headquarters. We do have several locations in the United States that we do manufacture parts at, but this is our head office, absolutely.
Can we take a look around?
We can, for sure. Let's go back through the warehouse and we'll show you.
Okay, so Mark, I think I lied a little bit there for a second because I said, welcome to Edelbrock, but really it's the Edelbrock group, right?
Yes, it is.
You got a bunch of brands under the umbrella.
Yep, we got the 5 power brands of all the different categories of products that we have.
And all of these brands, and especially if you're a car guy, you're gonna need almost something from every one of them if you're building your ultimate dream machine, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Edelbrock's got heads and manifolds and carburetors. We've got cams and all the valve train and comp cams, TCI, of course, all the transmission stuff, fast, some manifolds, some fuel injection, Russell, the whole gamut of AN fittings. So yeah, I mean, you can really build the whole car.
It's all right here,
Yep.
right? Now, and when I say all right here, this is a giant facility you guys have here. Can we take a walk down through here and see what's going on?
Absolutely. Let's walk through and check it out.
That's awesome. What all is made here? Because I think a lot of people think that stuff from Edelbrock or any of these other brands is made overseas or offshore and it's all made by robots, but that's just not the case, right?
No, absolutely not. We have 7 locations in the United States, and that's where we pretty much make everything. I mean, a very, very small amount of stuff comes, some chrome products and things like that. We don't actually manufacture ourselves, but otherwise it's all made in one of our facilities here in the US.
Everything comes in here then, and then like you said, you machine them.
Yep.
Everything gets like dressed, boxed, and shipped out.
Yes, it does. Everything gets, basically this is where the final product goes to all the customers. It leaves from this facility.
Oh wow, okay.
So yeah, you look down one of these aisles.
This is like heaven right here,
Yeah.
right? Like my wife thinks about, Costco and like every aisle filled with protein powder. I think of Costco filled with Edelbrock manifolds, and that's what this all is, looks like to me.
Hundreds of them down this aisle for sure.
It's like a little bit of heaven all in one place, right? Can we actually see how like an intake manifold is put together and machined and finished?
Absolutely. Right back here beyond those curtains is where we machine everything.
Oh, behind the curtain, let's go look.
Let's go check it out.
Okay, all right.
Edelbrock has 5 giant machines, each named for a famous speedway, that put the final touches on all the cast aluminum engine goodies you know and love. Your favorite valve covers and intake? Yeah, they're all lovingly dressed and finished right here in Memphis alongside those legendary camshafts. And to make sure anything with the Edelbrock, Russell, Fast, TCI, or Comp name on it does exactly what it's supposed to do, they've got a secret test lab and dyno where all their new products run the gauntlet before going into production. Hidden in the back of the original Comp Cams building, there's a lot of history and some dents in the back wall of the dyno room that are worth seeing for yourself.
started to perspire there a little bit, man. I'm glad I didn't put that motor together.
Greg heard we were ready for lunch, so he picked us up in his grandson's Roadster, and it's off to Central Barbecue for a gallon of sweet tea and pork barbecue nachos. No shortage of great tourist stops here, but the pro move is to get the locals to take you to their favorite spots. Central is one such joint, so get to the one that sits in the shadow of the Lorraine Motel. And after lunch, walk over to the Lorraine and step into the frozen moment in time where Martin Luther King Jr. spent his final moments. Memphis has played a bigger role in American history than most of us even realize. And speaking of history, no better way to visit the Edge Motor Museum than in Greg's four-banger. And if you play your cards right, you can power park out front for a gracious tour of the facilities.
We're at the Edge Museum here in the Edge neighborhood in Memphis, right? And this is Studebaker Bob. And we're just gonna keep it at Studebaker Bob because he's in the witness protection program. We don't wanna use his last name. But Bob, tell us about this jewel right here in the middle of this neighborhood that I never knew about. And I know that Sun Studios is up this way. What, downtown I think is that way?
Right down the street.
You guys are right here in the middle.
That is the reason it is called the Edge. It has been known as the Edge for a pretty good while. We're on the edge of downtown, we're on the edge of the entertainment district, we're on the edge of the medical center, and we're on the edge of Midtown. So this area has been called the Edge for many, many years.
And then just looking around, this looks like a pretty eclectic mix of stuff because I see a first gen Tesla over here, an early brass era T, there's a Muntz, and an Olds over here.
But there's a reason for all of this.
Yeah.
So we call this basically 100 years of technology. And
actually.
When we got the Tesla in on loan to us, then it was like, all right, we got to keep it charged up, so we got to get a charging station. Well, let's put an old car in here as a contrast to it with the old timey gas pump. And so the T is a 1913. The Tesla was built in late of 2007.
It's now vintage. It's now vintage electric,
sure
right? Yeah. Let's see the rest of this place. What else you got here?
Okay.
The Edge is literally packed door to door with a great collection of rolling history. The installations rotate from time to time, so check in early and often to see what Bob and his crew have in store for you.
Bob, appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.
You so much.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be back.
Okay.
And leave the keys in one of these vets or maybe like the Talladega or something like that. And the front door open.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Now, in Memphis, if you go for more than 2 hours without fresh barbecue intake, you'll start to get a little, shaky. So, it's off the beaten path to Pop's Hot Tamales. Hot tamales in the South ain't Mexican food, but they're not soul food either. They're somewhere in between, but know this, the best ones are the ones you have to eat on the hood of the hot rod you showed up in. And speaking of hot rods, it's time to take your full belly across town to Mike Abbott's shop, Steel Rose Metal Company.
This shop has the vibe of what the hot rod revival was like in the late 90s and early 2000s, before TV hit, before YouTube, before social media, before any of it. That vibe, I feel like a lot of people are trying to find again or maybe reinvent. This shop has it. Your shop is absolutely amazing. Like I said, the vibe of your place looks and feels like what it was back in the early days of our scene, right? Because now we're at the age let's say we're in our 40s and 50s, right? Now we've got our own history with hot rods. And that's not our dad's history, it's not it's ours, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That whole hot rod revival scene, I feel like you guys got it right here, what a lot of us kind of lost over the years. So this is an absolutely bitchin' place. This is really cool.
Yeah.
How would you describe your favorite work that you do here? Because I know you have a lot of customers, right? And the customer wants what the customer wants. But what's your favorite kind of car to build?
Yeah, we specialize in custom metal fabrication. Okay. We lean toward sheet metal, but we do everything from chassis and stuff like that. We try to lean toward 30s, 40s, early 50s customs, but we do everything from hand-make fenders to chop roofs to a lot of custom metal work. So yeah, we take flat metal and we turn it into cars.
That's cool, man. That's great, dude. So what do you got coming up for next year? Like, is there a car we should be looking for or thinking about coming out of Steel Rose?
Yeah, we got a couple. We got a T model Roadster that we're gonna try and completely get together. Super old world, flathead V8, 46 model flathead, top loader transmission.
Oh, cool.
And we're gonna attempt to build it completely and drive it to Trog.
Oh, nice, in
from
Jersey.
Here.
Great.
Yeah. So very old world car, drum brakes, super traditional.
That's so cool, man. Do appreciate it, man. This is great. Yeah. And I guess we're going down to Beale Street in a little bit too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that'll be fun.
Put your order in with Mike for your next Roadster before you make your way to the famous Beale Street in downtown Memphis. But you're going to make one more stop for, you guessed it, more barbecue on the way. Gus's Fried Chicken. It's chicken, it's fried, it's the best thing you've eaten in 2 hours. And it's exactly what you need to maintain your 83% barbecue gross volume weight while you're in town. It's off to Beale Street with your new best friends. During the summer, the heartbeat of Memphis is Beale Street. With BB King's blues joint on one end and a Baptist church on the other, this historic few blocks of downtown has everything you need for a Saturday night and a Sunday morning. Check with Trent from Edelbrock and make sure you're in town for this monthly car show on these old bricks, hosted by the American Muscle Club. And if you're really lucky, you'll catch the Memphis Jones show at the BB King joint.
He needs a hot rod. You know what I mean? Like, he needs a hot rod. Yeah. All of a sudden, I feel like it's our duty to make sure he's in a hot rod. He needs a burn. Yeah, he does need a burn.
1 part musician, 1 part historian, and 4 parts legend. The best thing you can do is just grab a beer and hold on for the ride.
You look like this is your town.
Oh yeah, I love Memphis, Tennessee. Born and raised here, flunked out, dropped out, kicked out, smacked down, shacked up, lost and found, saved, and enthusiastically fired from every job I've ever had except this one at BB King's, bro.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot to unpack, man. Well, tell me, how'd you get here?
It's the rhythm of Memphis, it's in my blood. I was born and raised here, for real. I love this city and I love the street. Music has always been my passion. Music history is sort of like icing on top of that cupcake, and the story of Memphis music, oh dude, the deeper you go, the deeper it gets. So there's no better place than Beale Street. This is where every modern song has roots that come to or grow through Beale Street. You can connect any musician or piece of music in the 20th century to today to this particular street.
This stretch of street right here.
Yes.
Can we go in and see what's going on inside this
Let
place?
me show you around. Come on in, man.
If you're lucky, you'll get the full Memphis Jones experience. 1 part on stage and 3 parts backstage with a tour of BB King's private dressing room and recording studio.
You're touching BB King's handprint there.
This is where he laid down some sweet, sweet tunes before coming up to jam with the crowd. And speaking of crowds, back to the car show on Beale Street. I mean, where else are you going to find early hot rods, muscle cars, stock classics, walk-in cocktails, and street performers? Turns out, the same place you'll find a bone stock Monza with matching wheels. Aw, Memphis never disappoints. Look, Memphis really is the jewel of Tennessee. Sure, it's Graceland and Sun Records, but the home of the blues is also home to one of the most beloved names in hot rodding now. And the good folks at Edelbrock and Comp Cams will treat you to a giant side of that famous Southern hospitality, along with all that barbecue you will no doubt give into. If ever there was a bucket list weekend you hadn't thought of yet, make Memphis your next one perfect day.